preoccupied with the NFL instead of dealing with Puerto Rico. Why isn't that a fair assessment?
Well, I wasn't preoccupied with the NFL. I was ashamed of what was taking place because, to me, that was a very important moment. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem. To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation. I've heard that before about was I preoccupied. Not at all. Not at all. I have plenty of time on my hands. All I do is work. And to be honest with you, that's an important function of working. It's called respect for our country. Many people have died. Many, many people. Many people are so horribly injured. I was at Walter Reed Hospital recently, and I saw so many great young people, and they're missing legs, and they're missing arms, and they've been so badly injured. And they were fighting for our country. They were fighting for our flag. They were fighting for our national anthem. And for people to disrespect that by kneeling during the playing of our national anthem, I think is disgraceful. So I will also say that, again, I read you part of his quote, but the governor of Puerto Rico is so thankful for the great job that we're doing. We did a great job in Texas, a great job in Florida, a great job in Louisiana. We hit little pieces of Georgia and Alabama. And frankly, we're doing, and it's the most difficult job because it's on the island. It's on an island in the middle of the ocean. It's out in the ocean. You can't just drive your trucks there from other states. And the governor said we are doing a great job. In fact, he thanked me specifically for FEMA and all of the first responders in Puerto Rico. And we're also mentioning with that the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was devastated. So we are totally focused on that. But at the same time, it doesn't take me long to put out a wrong, and maybe we'll get it right. I think it's a very important thing for the NFL to not allow people to kneel during the playing of our national anthem, to respect our country and to respect our flag. Okay? Thank you. Major Garrett, yes, CBS.
Good afternoon.
Yes, hi.
The day began in Puerto Rico with government officials saying May Day and talking about the threat of death mere hours away. Are you truly satisfied with what the government has done so far in Puerto Rico? And can you tell the people there things are actually going great when government officials there are warning of imminent death for many people there? And you have a special meeting. Are you contemplating the deployment of special naval assets or air assets to Puerto Rico to redress problems there? And on North Korea, very quickly, the foreign minister said you have declared effectively war on North Korea, and the North Korean government has threatened to shoot down or aim at American planes flying in international airspace. I'd like your reaction.
Okay, well, I'll answer the second one first. We are totally prepared for the second option, not a preferred option, but if we take that option, it will be devastating, I can tell you that, devastating for North Korea. That's called the military option. If we have to take it, we will. He's acting very badly. He's saying things that should never, ever be said. And we're replying to those things, but it's a reply. It's not an original statement, it's a reply. But the things that he's said over the last year, and if you look back, the things that he said to past administrations, North Korea is a situation that should have been handled 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and 5 years ago, and it could have been handled much more easily. You had various administrations, many administrations, which left me a mess, but I'll fix the mess. So we'll see what happens with North Korea. As far as Puerto Rico is concerned, I think just the opposite. We have had tremendous reviews from government officials, as we have in Texas and Louisiana, and as we have in Florida, as you know, from Governor Scott and Greg Abbott, great governors. And this morning, the governor made incredible statements about how well we're doing. We understand it's a disaster. It's a disaster that just happened. The grid was in bad shape before the storm. And Puerto Rico didn't get hit by one hurricane, got hit by 2 hurricanes. And they were among the biggest we've ever seen, with the second one being even worse. I mean, the second one hit Puerto Rico as a Category 5. I don't believe anybody's ever seen that happen before. Hit land with that kind of velocity. The governor has been extremely generous, and I appreciated it. We right now have our top people from FEMA, and they have been there. We are unloading on an hourly basis massive loads of water and food and supplies for Puerto Rico. And this isn't like Florida where we can go right up the spine, or like Texas where we go right down the middle and we distribute. This is, a thing called the Atlantic Ocean. This is tough stuff. The governor has been so incredible in his statements about the job we're doing. We're doing a great job. Don't forget, their police force has been decimated because many of the police in Puerto Rico have lost their homes. So, sure, they want to be police, but they also want to be able to watch their families and find their families, and they have to live. So we're also very much involved in security in Puerto Rico. So everybody has said it's amazing the job that we've done in Puerto Rico. We're very proud of it. And I'm going there on Tuesday. Now, with all of that being said, record, if you look at the amount of water dropped on that island between the two hurricanes, and the first they just barely got by with, but they were devastated. And the second was a complete wipeout. I mean, this was a place that was destroyed. So I think we've done a really good job. We're continuing to. We are literally unloading on an hourly basis water, food, supplies. We have our top people from FEMA and our first responders and everybody else. We're going to be deploying Navy ships. They've already been deployed. And we are going to do far more than anybody else would ever be able to do. And it's being recognized as such. But it is a tough situation.
Your eyes should burn, your heart should be struck by the absolute humanitarian crisis in Puerto Rico. And as I listened to my colleagues this morning, as I was coming to this floor already on these issues, they pierced my heart even more, because Puerto Rico is underwater. The disease is rising. People with medicine are losing it because they do not have refrigeration. And yet the idle talk and idle hands of the administration are in fact not doing anything sufficient enough to save those lives. And I too have people in my district who are unhoused, but I'm here because we are unified and we must be able to speak about the whole of America. I've been to Puerto Rico on a number of issues. I know the leadership, the former congressperson, and I believe that it is high time, if this is water that Hurricane Harvey was, imagine the disease of being hit by 155 miles per hour. It is now time to put a military czar in Puerto Rico, send the C-130s, send the ships, help these people be rescued. This is a disgrace. Stop talking about foolishness. Be a leader and be the commander-in-chief and stop all of this. When are we going to get the kind of leader that is deserving of the American people? I am sick and tired of it. I want a president. I do not want a person
is no longer recognized.
People are dying. Enough is enough. And don't harm my constituents because I'm calling on troops because they need help. I yield that.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today and stand at the podium designated for Republicans, but I rise not as a Democrat or Republican. I rise today, Mr. Speaker, not as a liberal or conservative. Mr. Speaker, I rise today as a proud American, a person who believes in his country, who salutes the flag and says the Pledge of Allegiance and sings the national anthem. I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to make comments that I never thought I'd have to make in the well of the House of Congress. I rise today to defend, denounce, and announce. Mr. Speaker, I rise to defend any mother who has been called a dog because her son engaged in peaceful protest. I rise, Mr. Speaker. I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to defend any son who is called the son of a dog because he engaged in peaceful protest. I rise, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to denounce these comments that have been made because they have brought discourse to a new low. Mr. Speaker, this is a level of indecency that is unbecoming the presidency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to say to the world that this is not what America is all about. calling people SOBs. And we know what a bee is. It's a dog. Mr. Speaker, I rise because my heart tells me that I must do something. So, Mr. Speaker, I denounce the comments that were made, and I rise to announce that on next week, Mr. Speaker, I will bring a privileged resolution before the Congress of the United States of America. I will stand here in the well of the Congress, and I will call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America. I yield back my time.